Newlywed's life changed forever. Heartwarming secret discovered just 2 hours before tragic loss. The sun streamed through the big bay window of Sarah and Jake's cozy home. It was a picture-perfect day in their tree-lined Ohio suburb, bursting with life, laughter, and the smell of blooming flowers. Sarah, a vibrant 28-year-old elementary school teacher, was busy arranging floral bouquets while Jake, her dashing 30-year-old husband and local firefighter, rushed out to grab last-minute supplies for their eagerly anticipated family gathering. In that blissful moment, they embodied the very essence of the American dream, having built their lives from humble beginnings through love and determination. However, just as Sarah adjusted the last rose into the vase, her phone buzzed sharply. She answered, only for her heart to plummet as the frantic voice on the other end relayed terrifying news. Jake had collapsed. As panic rose like bile in her throat, Sarah dropped her bouquet and dashed to the hospital. The air around her felt thick and suffocating. Friends and family rushed to their home, exchanging worried looks and whispers. What could have happened? In that chaotic storm of emotions, Sarah found herself in the attic minutes later, searching for comfort among the remnants of Jake's past. She remembered his silly jokes about hidden treasures, and what she discovered was far more profound than any trinket. There, covered in dust, was an old wooden box. Heart racing, she opened it to find letters written during his military service. The ink bore witness to his dreams, hopes, and deepest fears. His words about honor and bravery poured from the page, tinged with a vulnerability she had rarely seen in a man like Jake. One letter caught her eye, one he had never sent. It revealed Jake's anxieties about being a father, his insecurities about providing for a family filled with laughter and joy. With each line, Sarah could see the man he was hiding behind the brave exterior. Her chest ached, both from gratitude for his dreams and heartbreak for the uncertainty now looming over them. Outside, she could hear murmurs of concern as relatives paced, praying for news. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As she emerged from the attic clutching the letters, another wave of anxiety washed over Sarah. The family gathered below, all too aware of Jake's so-called ruggedness and steadfastness. They hadn't known the gentle, scared man underneath. With newfound determination, Sarah took center stage, addressing them. Jake is more than just a firefighter or a soldier, he is also a loving husband with dreams that matter. Vulnerability spilled forth from her heart, laying bare the love they had shared. As tears flowed and stories about Jake poured out, the room shifted towards the fears he had faced. The conversation sparked around mental health, masculinity, and the very essence of human connection. Amid the shared grief and thoughts on love, a reality began to settle and the sun sank lower, casting long shadows of uncertainty into a gathering that was meant to celebrate love. What would become of Sarah? Could they support her through this devastation? In that moment, she made a silent vow to honor Jake's dreams for their future. Yet the questions hung in the air like heavy fog. How could anyone fill the void left behind? And could a community fragile in grief come together to uplift her? As the last vestiges of light faded, the clock ticked toward an unknown, and a promise to remember Jake engulfed them all. Would they emerge stronger, or would they? Divisions deepen in their time of need? Sarah stood at the center of the room, her heart heavy as unspoken truths hung in the air. Faces around her wore a mask of worry and sorrow, each one reflecting a shared pain that was beginning to seep through the cracks of their earlier gathering. With each blink, dimming light painted their expressions in shades of concern. As she sifted through the moment, Sarah recognized a duty deeper than just grief. She had to ignite a fire of resilience in the hearts of those surrounding her. Jake wanted us to be happy, she said, her voice trembling yet resolute. He believed in family, laughter, and hope. We can't let fear silence those dreams. Family members exchanged glances, some tears now mingling with hopeful smiles, but it was missing the kind of vibrant laughter Jake had brought to their gatherings. They had known him as a hero, a protector, but Sarah wanted them to know a softer side, the tenderness he wore when nobody was watching, the way he would pause and listen. Even when the world was chaotic, she initiated a circle, inviting each person to share their favorite memory of Jake. One by one, stories flowed about the way he would dive headfirst into a pool of kids at family reunions, laughter erupting like bubbles on the surface of water. They recalled his impromptu dance moves that always ended in fits of giggles. Little by little, the weight of sorrow in the room lightened with each shared memory, slowly transforming grief into gratitude. An idea sparked in her mind, like a flicker of hope amidst the shadows. Sarah would organize a community gathering in Jake's honor. It'd be a day filled with laughter and shared memories, a festival of life to celebrate the love and dreams he had once yearned for. The room could be painted not just with loss, but with joy as well. Let us create a place where families can come together, where laughter echoes, and where Jake's dreams come alive, she proposed, feeling the warmth of her own determination. Slowly, nods of understanding spread through the room, and she could see the heaviness of despair lifting. They needed this. She needed this. It became a pact, unspoken, yet deepened by shared resolve. The next few days would be the hardest. In the quiet of the night, Sarah would often find herself by Jake's side of the bed, clutching the letters that had revealed the hidden depths of his soul, the dreams he had for their life together. Now, with every event she planned, every detail she imagined, she carried his spirit with her. But amidst the plans and preparations, doubt whispered in the corners of her mind. Would the community rally behind her? Would they truly understand what Jake meant to her? As the days turned into a blur of activity, she began reaching out to local businesses for support, sharing her mission with anyone who would listen. The responses staggered her. People she had only waved to from across the street were reaching out, offering help, resources, love. With each acknowledgement, another ember of strength flickered within her. But on the day of their first family celebration, Sarah stood at the crossroads of memory and hope. She could feel Jake's presence in every moment, his laughter intermingling with new stories. Yet, as she gazed at the growing crowd, a different question lingered. Would this day truly honor him, or would it simply be another round of smiling faces hiding the underlying sorrow? She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of anticipation crash against her heart. This was just the beginning, but as she faced the gathering, she could sense there was more to unearth, more truths hidden beneath, waiting to be revealed. Little did she know, tonight would bring unexpected revelations that could alter everything. What came next would be beyond anything she could have prepared for. Sarah's heart raced as she took her place at the center of the makeshift stage. The sound of chatter and laughter filled the air, blending warmly with the sweet scent of barbecued ribs and freshly baked pies. Families gathered, their faces illuminated by strings of twinkling lights hanging above them, casting a soft glow that felt almost magical. As she looked out into the crowd, a mix of joy and anxiety washed over her. Could they really capture Jake's spirit today? She cleared her throat, trying to steady her thoughts. "Thank you all for being here," she called out, her voice lifting above the chatter. The crowd quieted, their eyes turning towards her with expressions both curious and encouraging. Today is about celebrating Jake, about remembering the laughter he brought to our lives. Let us share stories. Let us dance. Let's truly live. A few cheers erupted, igniting the atmosphere, and soon the area transformed into a space filled with laughter and music. Children darted about, their squeals of joy echoing what had once been only distant memories. Sarah clapped her hands, inviting everyone to come together. Behind her, a small band began to play one of Jake's favorite songs. As she joined in the rhythm, a sense of purpose surged through her veins. Each note intertwined with the beat of her heart, reminding her of life's bittersweet dance. But beneath the festivities swirling around her, unease flickered at the back of her mind. She had seen the somber looks and dampened smiles of distant family members who were still struggling to embrace this moment. Just then, she noticed an elderly woman standing at the edge of the crowd, clutching a faded photograph. It was Jake's grandmother, a woman who always seemed stronger than the world itself. Today, however, her shoulders slumped slightly, and her eyes glistened with unshed tears. Sarah's heart ached for her, and she couldn't help but walk over. "Hi, Grandma. It's so good to see you," Sarah said softly, her voice wrapping around the two of them like a warm blanket. The older woman looked up, a flicker of surprise in her eyes. "Sarah, dear," she started, her voice quivering. "I wanted to tell you I found something." She held out the photograph of younger Jake, arms flung wide, laughter frozen in time. "What is it?" Sarah asked, curious as the crowd danced blissfully nearby. "Your husband, he wrote a letter to me before he passed, but I didn't know if I should share it. I didn't want to add to your pain. But now, seeing everyone here, I think you should read it." Sarah nodded, feeling a strange mix of longing and apprehension. "Can we read it together?" Grandma's eyes softened, filled with age-old wisdom. "Of course. I believe it might just bring light into this moment." As they settled on a nearby bench, a hush began to form around Sarah. One by one, heads turned towards her, expressions curious and concerned. With the photograph in one hand, she unfolded the letter with the other, her hands trembling slightly as she revealed the words Jake had poured from his heart. The first few lines carried warmth, like a soothing balm, describing his hopes for their future together. But as she continued reading, a chill spread down her spine. The final sentences hinted at dreams unfinished and sacrifices made that she had never known about. An unexpected twist that would leave her heart racing not from sadness, but questions. Would this revelation connect her more deeply to Jake's unknown struggles, or would it drive a wedge formed by hidden truths? Before she could ponder further, a sudden hush fell over the crowd. All eyes were on her, each one anticipating her response. What lies in these words? She wondered quietly, aware that tonight was about to evolve into something far beyond joyful reminiscing. The air thickened with tension. With a breath deeper than she had taken all evening, she grasped the photo tightly, uncertain of the path laid out before her. Little did she know, this moment would steer everything in new, unforeseen directions. Sarah's heart raced as she peered down at the letter, the words blurring slightly as her pulse quickened in her ears. The crowd held its breath, an invisible thread connecting her to every expectant gaze. She could feel her grandmother's comforting presence beside her, anchoring her in this turbulence of emotions. With shaking hands, she cleared her throat. "Jake, he always wanted the best for us," she started, her voice soft yet resolute. "He dreamed of building a family, of traveling the world together and living fully." With each word, she tried to project the love and optimism that Jake had infused into her life. But there was something more hidden beneath those aspirations. As she read deeper into the letter, her breath caught in her throat. He had written about struggles she and T realized he faced. His quest for acceptance and fear of inadequacy loomed heavy in his words. He mentioned financial worries and the pressure of expectations that he felt from the outside world. In his vibrant dreams, shadows danced, blending joy with burdens he never shared. Tears pricked at the corners of her eyes, and she felt the warmth of her grandmother's hand resting gently on her shoulder. The love in that gesture reminded her that she was not alone, that they were all here together sharing this ache and remembering Jake's laughter that had once filled their lives. "Jake wanted you all to know," she continued, her voice stronger now, "that it's okay to struggle. He wanted us to lean on each other, to lift one another up." A small murmur echoed through the crowd, respect and recognition mirrored in their faces. But as Sarah's eyes shifted back to the letter, gasps stilled her thoughts. The final lines hit her hard, revealing his wish to protect her from those unspoken pains. "If you ever find yourself lost, know that the answers you seek are in our shared moments. And if you can't find your way, please forgive me for not being there to help." The weight of those words sank deep into her chest, stirring an ache she hadn't prepared for. The concept of forgiveness twisted into a question she hadn't anticipated. Could she forgive him for what he had hidden? "Sarah," her grandmother's voice interrupted her thoughts, soft yet firm. "He wrote this for you, to remind you that connection is what truly matters. His love for you is everlasting." The crowd began to buzz again, smiles emerging as Sarah shared snippets of the letter, creating a bridge between the past and the present. She spoke about his dreams, his laughter, and the joy he found in life as small pleasures. The mood shifted, embracing the warmth Jake brought into their lives. But as the celebration began to swell with renewed energy, a twinge of doubt still danced at the edges of Sarah's thoughts. She couldn't shake the feeling that the revelations were just the beginning. What else was hidden in the depths of Jake's heart and mind? Was there more she needed to understand before fully grasping their shared life? As the crowd swayed to the music, laughter ringing across the evening sky, Sarah felt the weight of her choices becoming clearer. The night held a promise that was still waiting to unfold, a connection begging to be explored. Before she could take a breath, a figure emerged at the edge of the gathering, familiar yet unexpected. "Sarah," the figure called out, their voice slicing through the joy like a sudden chill. It was someone from her past, someone who could ignite long-forgotten memories and secrets. In that moment, the air thickened with an unknown tension, and Sarah wondered what came next. Would this unexpected reunion unravel everything she thought she knew? The crowd parted as the figure stepped closer, their presence a jarring contrast to the lightheartedness that had just enveloped the gathering. Sarah's heart sank as she recognized him. It was Tom, her first love, the one who had left without a word so many years ago. Memories rushed back, a flood of shared laughter, whispered secrets, and the bittersweet taste of a love that never quite had its chance. "Sarah," he repeated, his voice softer now as he approached. The world around them faded, and it felt as if they stood alone in a spotlight during a play meant only for them. "I heard about Jake, I'm so sorry." For a moment, everything inside Sarah froze. She had crafted a protective wall around her heart since Jake's passing, determined to shield herself from any further pain. But here was Tom, dismantling those walls with just a look. She could still see the boy she had loved, the one who had promised her the world amid the cliques and pressures of high school. "Why now?" she asked, her voice catching. "Why did you come back?" He glanced down, shuffling his feet. I needed to see you." "To explain." "Explain what?" She pressed, a mix of anger and curiosity painting her words. "You left without a word. After everything I know I hurt you. But it was never about you, Sarah. I was scared." His voice trembled, vulnerability cracking the facade he wore. "I thought I could come back when I was ready, but life took turns I didn't expect. And now?" Sarah felt the bite of anguish, the remnants of old wounds stirred. Could she trust him after all this time? Tom stepped forward, desperation clear in his eyes. "I didn't realize how much I missed you until I heard about Jake. It made me confront my own mistakes. I didn't come here to disrupt your life, I came to heal my own." Her heart raced as she processed his words. Was he asking for forgiveness? Or was he just searching for closure? Sarah fought to keep the bitterness from her voice as she replied, "It's not about you, Tom. It's about Jake. About what he wanted from me." Tom's gaze dropped, shame etched across his features. "I understand. But maybe I can help you find what you need to understand about him, about yourself." A part of Sarah wanted to dismiss him outright, shove away the old memories he conjured. Yet an ember of curiosity flickered within her. Could he truly help illuminate the shadows Jake had left behind? Given all she'd uncovered in the letter, did Jake foresee this entire encounter? "Please, Sarah, just give me a chance to explain," he urged, sincerity radiating from him. Around them, the celebration carried on, laughter echoing like specters of past joys. But Sarah felt the world narrowing, the moment stretching thin as she weighed her next move. She was faced with a choice: turn her back on Tom and what he represented, or step into the hazy unknown seeking answers she might not want to hear. One way could lead to resentment, the other might open old wounds. As she contemplated her next words, a flutter of hope clashed with fear. Whatever choice she made, it felt monumental. "Okay, tell me," she finally breathed, the words leaving her lips with a mix of dread and anticipation. "Tell me everything." As Tom began to speak, Sarah felt her heart pounding, a connection rekindling in the hollow spaces of her past. But she couldn't escape the feeling that the truth he carried might change everything once again. What if she uncovered something about Jake that was even more shocking than what she had already learned? Tom inhaled deeply, his gaze steady on Sarah, as if trying to draw courage from her eyes. "When I left all those years ago, it wasn't just my fear, it was the pressure, the expectations that weighed heavily on me. I thought leaving was the answer. But in doing so, I hurt you more than I ever realized. You chose to leave." Her voice was quieter now, each word tinged with the memories of heartbreak. "You didn't give me a chance to understand. I was young and stupid, Sarah. I thought I was protecting you," he continued, his hands trembling slightly at his sides. But I ended up ruining everything. I ran away from my feelings, from what we had, thinking it would be easier. What does any of this have to do with Jake? She interrupted, feeling a knot tightening in her stomach. You think you can just come back and rewrite history? Tom hesitated, his brow furrowing. While I was away, I found out about something that connects our lives now. Something about Jake. His voice faltered as he glanced around, ensuring they weren't overheard amidst the ongoing celebration. He wrote me a letter before he passed. He wanted me to reach out to you to help you. Sarah's breath hitched in her throat. A letter? Why didn't you say something sooner? Her heart raced, a mix of dread and anticipation flooding her senses. He asked me to find a way to explain to help you let go of the pain and find peace. He knew how much he meant to you, and couldn't he bear the thought of you shutting everyone out. Especially me. Tom stepped closer, his voice a whisper now, intense with emotion. Sarah, he wanted you to know that it's okay to move on. He wished for you to be happy, truly happy. A wave of disbelief crashed over Sarah. The warmth she once felt for Tom intertwined with anger and sadness. And you think you're the right person to tell me this? The man who left without a trace? I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, he admitted, the pain and regret etched into his features. But maybe this is a path to understanding what you need to do next. To begin healing. Her mind raced with questions. Could she trust Tom after all these years? And what Phil had written in that letter? What if it led her down a path of even more heartache? But something deep within urged her forward, a cautious hope ignited. Where is that letter? Sarah's voice was steadier now, the remnants of her guarded heart beginning to soften. Tom's eyes widened slightly, surprise giving way to relief. I have it. It's not easy to read, but I think it would mean everything to you. I didn't want to bring it up until you were ready. Why didn't you tell me sooner? She pressed, her heart pounding as though it might leap out of her chest. Because every time I thought about it, I hesitated. I didn't want to intrude on your grief, especially with everything you're already carrying. His sincerity hung between them, palpable and raw. The noise of the crowd felt distant now, and in that moment, it felt like they were the only two souls in the universe. All this time, I thought Jake was gone without a trace. And now you're saying there's a letter, a connection between us even still? Yes, Tom replied, desperation creeping into his tone. And I want to be there for you, if you'll let me. Sarah's mind whirled, emotions swirling like autumn leaves in the wind. Could Tom truly be a bridge to understanding Jake's lingering love? Or was this just another disappointment waiting to happen? As her heart battled with the urge to turn away and protect itself once again, a voice inside whispered that maybe this was the moment she had been waiting for. Show me, she murmured, a mix of determination and uncertainty in her words. Tom nodded, hope flickering in his eyes. I will. Just be ready for the truth, Sarah. With that, as she felt the weight of the years pressing down on her, she steeled herself for what was to come. What if the truths hidden in that letter would reshape her entire existence? Tom took a step back, a weight hanging heavy between them. I have it with me, he said, his voice a mix of eagerness and uncertainty. But it's south at my place. I didn't think we'd be talking about this tonight. The laughter and chatter from the celebration faded into the background as Sarah's heart raced. Could we go now? She asked, the urgency in her voice surprising even her. Tom's eyes widened. Are you sure? I know it's a bit much to take in, he said, brushing a hand through his hair, clearly grappling with the same whirlwind of emotions. It wasn't just the content of the letter she craved. It was the sense of connection, the reminder of Jake. The longing to untangle the knots of grief she had held tightly for so long pushed her forward. Yes, I'm sure. They slipped away from the crowd, moving through the cozy streets lit by soft, flickering lamps. She felt a mix of dread and anticipation. Each step towards Tom's home felt monumental, like crossing some invisible threshold into a new reality. The quiet of his apartment enveloped them once they stepped inside. It felt intimate and foreign at the same time. Tom went to his desk, rummaging through piles of papers and old trinkets. She watched him, trying to read the unease etched in his face. And then he surfaced the letter, a simple white envelope. It looked ordinary, yet it held the weight of everything that mattered: love, loss, and wishes left unspoken. Here it is, Tom said, holding it out to her like a treasure. Her fingers trembled slightly as she took it from him. The familiar handwriting brought a rush of nostalgia, aching memories swarming her heart. She hesitated, not knowing if she was ready to open this Pandora's box. "Do you want me to leave?" Tom asked gently, sensing her turmoil. "I can give you some space." "No," she whispered. "I want you here." Her voice gained strength. "I need you here." Tom settled on the couch, eyes fixed on her, his breath steadying her. She tore open the envelope, feeling the tremor of anticipation coursing through her veins. As she unfolded the letter, the world outside faded away. Each word felt like a heartbeat, a pulse of life that Jake had poured onto the page. "Sarah," it began, the opening line igniting a warmth in her chest. She read on, her pulse quickening and slowing with each sentence. Jake spoke of love, of dreams, and the importance of living life fully. He urged her not to let grief chain her heart. "I'll always be with you," he had written, "but you have to find your own happiness again." Tears pooled in her eyes, releasing the pent-up ache she had buried for so long. It was not only a message of love, but an invitation to heal, a gentle reminder that it was okay to let go and embrace life once more. Tom watched her, his gaze softening as he witnessed her internal battle, the release mixed with pain. "What does it say?" he asked quietly. She looked up from the letter, and their eyes locked. "He wanted me to choose happiness. He wants me to live, to let go of the past." "Then maybe you should," he murmured, hope glimmering in his eyes. "You deserve to find joy again, Sarah. With or without me." The air between them shifted, heavy with unsaid words. It was a moment that felt both fragile and powerful, carrying the weight of transformation. Could she really step into a new chapter, carrying her love for Jake while allowing something new to blossom? As she tucked the letter back into the envelope, a sense of clarity washed over her. She was on the brink of change, teetering on the edge of a new beginning. But could she fully embrace it? "Tell me, what now?" she breathed, her voice trembling with the future's promise and uncertainty hanging in the air. Tom took a deep breath, ready to dive deeper into uncharted territory. "Let us talk about what Jake really wanted for you. Perhaps it's time we both face the past, together." And in that moment, every unturned stone loomed before her, as thrilling as it was daunting. What truth did they still have to discover? Sarah's heart fluttered as she processed Tom's words. It felt like standing at the edge of a cliff, staring down at an ocean of uncertainty. What awaited her as she peered into those depths? Healing? Pain? Or perhaps both? Tom shifted on the couch, the shadows of his own past reflected in the furrow of his brow. "Sarah, the truth is grief isn't just about losing someone. It's also about what we carry forward. Let us turn that page together." She took a breath, steadier now. "I don't know how. It feels too heavy." The remnants of her sorrow were like an anchor, and the thought of cutting it free sent shivers down her spine. His eyes narrowed with understanding. "It helps to share our burdens. Remember, you're not alone in this. What if we start with what Jake meant to you?" Nodding slowly, she could feel the tightness in her chest as she opened up. "Jake was everything. He wasn't just my partner. He was my cheerleader, my safety net. I don't want to forget him, but how do I move on without losing his memory?" The weight of her words hung between them, and she bit her lip, tears misting her eyes again. Tom leaned forward, his voice low and sincere. "You don't have to forget him. You can carry his memory alongside your happiness. Imagine keeping the love he gave, but using it to inspire you rather than hold you back." A lump formed in Sarah's throat. Could it really be that simple? Or was it a lifelong tug-of-war waiting to happen? "Jake wanted you to live your life fully, Sarah," Tom continued, his voice unwavering. "He believed in you, and so do I. You can do this." She hesitated. "But what if I fail? What if I never truly find joy again?" Tom reached across the space between them, taking her hand. The warmth of his grip gave her courage. "Failure is part of the journey. Every stumble leads you closer to finding your path, including feeling joy again." What he said resonated within her, a spark seeking to ignite the embers of her heart. It all felt so new, so frightening, yet promising. "Can I really embrace this?" she asked softly, her voice a whisper filled with hope. "Can I really find a way to love life again?" A small smile spread across Tom's face, illuminating the shadow in the room. "Absolutely. You are stronger than you think. And I'll be right here to help." As the heaviness thawed ever so slowly, laughter from the street below seeped in through the windows. It was a comforting reminder that outside these walls, life was still vibrant and moving. "Let us talk about Jake's dreams," Tom said, pulling her attention back to the present. "What did he always talk about? The things you two wanted to do together?" Memories began to surface, dreams of travel, exploring hidden finds in their city, looking at sunsets on distant shores. Each thought was a flutter of wings in her heart. Travel. He wanted us to see the Grand Canyon, to hike through national parks, to experience adventure together. The words spilled out, weaving a tapestry of shared dreams that had yet to unfurl. "Then let us map it out," Tom encouraged, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "What is the first thing that comes to mind?" A wave of unexpected excitement rushed through her. "I've always wanted to see the ocean at sunrise." He smiled wider. "Let us make that happen. Let it be your first step into this new life." "Together?" she asked, a smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. "Absolutely, together." But just as hope settled into her heart, an unexpected shadow crossed her mind. What if this journey tested their bond in ways she couldn't predict? As they began to talk about their adventure, a deeper challenge loomed ahead, one that would demand both trust and courage. "Okay, where do we start?" she asked, excitement tinging her voice. Tom turned serious for a moment, deepening the gravity of their conversation. "Before we can travel, we need to clear the air first. What are we really looking for in this journey?" And a cool rush of uncertainty gripped her heart once again. What truths did they really need to face together? What darkness needed to be dealt with first? The way forward was opening up, but it came with its own set of challenges. Would they be strong enough to face them? Sarah's stomach tied in knots as she absorbed Tom's question. What are we really looking for in this journey? The words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. She had been so focused on stepping into the light that she almost forgot the shadows lurking at the edges. "Honestly," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper, "I don't want to feel like I'm losing Jake every time I try to be happy." The tears threatened again, but she blinked them back, furious at the vulnerability she was revealing. Tom remained silent for a moment, allowing her to process. His gaze was steady, his expression sincere and open. "Then let us start there. What does it feel like when you think about him?" The rush of memories flooded over her. Jake's laughter, the warmth of his touch, the way he could make even the dullest days feel sparkly and bright. "It's bittersweet," she confessed. "I feel joy when I think of him, but it's always followed by this crushing sadness." Tom nodded in understanding. "That's a natural part of grief. Maybe you need a way to tie those memories into your new experiences, to make it a celebration rather than a loss." A flicker of realization passed through her. "Like creating a ritual?" she asked, feeling her heart quicken with excitement. "To honor him whenever I feel happy?" "Yes," Tom exclaimed, a grin lighting up his face. "A place where memories and new adventures can coexist. You could even write him a letter before every trip. Share your excitement with him. Let him be part of your journey." "I love that idea," Sarah said, the weight lifting slightly. The thought of communicating with Jake in that way felt comforting, like a bridge connecting the past and the future. "Let us set this trip to see the ocean at sunrise as the first chapter in that book," Tom suggested, his enthusiasm igniting a spark within her. "Visualize it. You'll stand on that beach, welcoming the dawn. You can tell him everything." Excitement bubbled up within her, pushing through the heavy cloak of sadness. "I can picture it now. Just me, the waves, and the sun rising. I'll speak to him. Tell him how much I miss him." Tom's smile softened, his expression filled with warmth. "And I'll be right alongside you, witnessing that moment. We're in this together." But as the thrill of the upcoming adventure swelled in her heart, a new worry crept in. Did she really want Tom to be there? What if the bond they were forming meant something deeper than friendship? Would that blurring of lines set them both on a path of no return? The conversation shifted as they moved into practicalities. They talked about what to bring, where to stay, the logistics that excited and intimidated her at once. But beneath the surface, questions churned. Would Tom become a part of her life in a way she hadn't anticipated? As they wrapped up their planning, the sun dipped low outside, casting a warm glow in the room. Sarah felt a rush of emotions, hopeful yet hesitant. What if, she thought to herself, what if this adventure was the beginning of something she didn't see coming? Tom picked up on her silence. "You okay?" he asked, genuine concern in his eyes. She forced a smile, trying to mask her uncertainty. "Yeah, I'm just excited. But deep down, what she didn't expect was how much of herself she was ready to unveil. As they prepared to leave, standing at the threshold of a new beginning, an unexpected realization hit her. This wasn't just about honoring Jake anymore. It was about embracing life, not just for him, but for herself, too. And as the door swung open, she felt the cool evening air wrap around her, comforting yet bracing. With every step forward, she wondered, what if letting go didn't mean losing Jake, but rather finding a way to carry him with her as she faced whatever lay ahead? The path beckoned, lined with uncertainty, hope, and the promise of transformation. What awaited her there? Sarah stood at the edge of the familiar ocean, the salty breeze entwining her hair and making her heart race with anticipation. Tom stood beside her, a quiet support as the sunrise crested the horizon, painting the sky in vibrant oranges and pinks. It was breathtaking, just as she had imagined, and in that moment, she felt Jake's spirit beside her, urging her forward. With every crashing wave, she felt a new sense of purpose swell within her chest. Today was not merely a celebration of what was lost, but an invitation to embrace all that was to come. She took a deep breath, gathering her courage as she prepared to finally bridge the gap between her past and her future. "Jake," she whispered, kneeling in the damp sand, the cool touch grounding her. "I miss you every single day, each laugh we shared, each dream we built together. But I have to let you fly free now. I promise I'll carry your love with me." She looked up to the rising sun, each ray brushing her face like Jake's warm affection. There was a shift in her heart, a gentle release of grief that felt like a feather lifting off her spirit. Beside her, Tom watched, a blend of admiration and understanding softening his gaze. "You're truly remarkable, Sarah," he said, honesty woven through his words. "I know it's not easy, but this is beautiful." A surge of warmth washed over her. His presence was both comforting and exhilarating. She turned to him, her voice steady. "Thanks for being here. I didn't know I needed someone to support me through this until you came back into my life." Tom smiled, and it felt different now. There was no longer an air of hesitation. Instead, there was a promise budding on the horizon. "I'm here for the long haul if you want me," he replied, sincerity spilling over. Suddenly, a surge of laughter rippled through the crowd of friends and family who had gathered nearby, rekindling that vibrant spirit she had felt before. It was time to honor Jake, to share stories among the people who loved him just as fiercely. As they stood up, Sarah felt lighter, but with a determination ignited within. "Let us do this together," she said, her heart full of the love she still carried for Jake and the new connections blooming with the gathering. She took center stage among the laughter and joy. "Thank you for coming today, everyone." Sarah's voice echoed across the beach, catching people's attention. The familiar warmth of community surrounded her, a cocoon woven from shared memories. Together, they began to share stories about Jake, how he always found ways to make things lighthearted, how he dreamed of adventure, and how every path led back to love and laughter. With each recollection, she felt Jake's presence enveloping her, guiding her to a joyous tapestry of memories instead of a burden of sorrow. Tom stepped in often, adding his own anecdotes, making connections with people she hadn't imagined. The ocean was alive today in a way it hadn't been since Jake passed. The laughter, the sunlight, everything felt like a new beginning. Sarah turned to Tom and smiled, gratefulness etched across her face. "You've helped me see that life can still be vibrant." As if hearing her, the waves crashed approvingly, and the sun rose higher. They moved seamlessly between laughter and tears, navigating memories with grace. Friends approached, not only to remember Jake, but to share in Sarah's journey forward. They hugged her and offered kind words, a bond forged not just in grief, but flourishing in love. As twilight hovered, someone popped open a bottle of champagne, a celebration spilling with joy into the air. "For Jake," they toasted, and with that declaration, Sarah felt a lump rise in her throat, and tears spilled freely. She could feel Jake smiling down, proud of how they all came together. It was in that moment she realized that joy didn't mean the absence of sadness. It meant honoring both. She pledges to seek laughter while cherishing every lingering memory of Jake. Tom reached out for her hand, entwining their fingers with solace and support. "Let us keep going," he said softly, a smile plastered across his face. As they walked along the beach, surrounded by friends and family, Sarah knew the journey ahead would not be straightforward. Yet with every step, she carried Jake in her heart, his laughter guiding her, his dreams lighting the way. And with Tom beside her, she felt a sense of hope flourish anew. They would build this life together, create new memories, and face all the uncertainties the future held. That beautiful moment on the beach, surrounded by love, laughter, and shared dreams, Sarah realized that she was finally ready to embrace life once more. What awaited her was more than mere survival. It was a vibrant journey of rediscovery, connection, and transformation that honored the past while inviting in the possibilities of the future. She squeezed Tom's hand tighter, ready to leap into the unknown, her heart alight with anticipation. Together, they would honor Jake, but most importantly, they would pave a path toward their own happiness woven together by love. As they watched the colors of sunset melt into twilight, she whispered a silent promise. Here's to new beginnings. And with that, they stepped forward, chasing the dawn of a tomorrow brighter than either had ever dared to dream. Now, friends, it's your turn to join this journey of love, transformation, and hope. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire your heart. Don't wait, not even one more second. Leave a like to feed the algorithm and let others experience this transformation. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending It Matters. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see the power of love and resilience. The community is waiting for you.